Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In recent years, Chinese historical dramas, especially those set in the Qing Dynasty like Empresses in the Palace, Zhen Huan Zhuan, and Story of Yanqi Palace, have received continuous praise. The characters portrayed in these shows have captured the attention of many viewers. The costumes and hairstyles showcased in these dramas, in particular, have become popular trends for people to imitate. However, in reality, these styles were adapted for visual appeal. And many of the costumes and hairstyles are quite different from their historical counterparts. Take hairstyles, for example. The real hairstyles from the Qing Dynasty differ significantly from the ones shown in TV dramas. In fact, many of these authentic styles would likely be difficult for modern audiences to accept. According to historians, early Qing Dynasty women's hairstyles retain traditions from the Jiaqing period. As a nomadic people, practicality was the primary concern for their hairstyles rather than aesthetics. On the grasslands, washing hair was highly inconvenient, and people washed their hair only a few times a year. As a result, the most common hairstyle for women during the early Qing period was the pan-tu, coiled hair. This hairstyle involved braiding all the hair and coiling it at the back of the head. This offered two key advantages. First, it was very secure and wouldn't easily come undone, even while riding horses, making it well suited to life on the grasslands. Second, it provided insulation. On the vast plains, strong winds were frequent, and prolonged exposure could damage the scalp. This hairstyle protected the scalp and helped prevent illness. As a result, nearly all women adopted this style. A similar hairstyle was the bao-tu, wrapped hair. Although it didn't involve braiding, the hair was still coiled entirely at the back of the head. Therefore, during the early Qing and later Jin periods, women's hairstyles were kept as simple and convenient as possible, with no additional decorations. Even Qing nobility at the time had few options. They would let their hair down only when they had the opportunity to wash it. Otherwise, they would keep it coiled. However, there was a significant difference in how unmarried and married women styled their hair. By the Qianlong period, as living standards and aesthetic sensibilities improved, women's hairstyles in the Qing dynasty underwent considerable reform. One of the most noticeable changes was the introduction of the liangbatu, two-part hair, and the use of wigs. The liangbatu is a hairstyle frequently seen in historical dramas, characterized by one or two distinct partings on the top of a woman's head, with the hair tied at the back. Women would also wear various traditional Qing headpieces on the crown. While this hairstyle remained simple, it was much more aesthetically pleasing. When paired with certain headpieces, it enhanced a woman's appearance. However, because some women had thinning hair, wigs also became popular at the time. A mix of real and fake hair was considered fashionable during that era. In the Daoguang period, another style known as the jiazatu, framed hair, emerged. This involved placing a frame underneath the hair and shaping the hair to resemble a structure. This not only provided support for the crown but also allowed for the addition of flowers, jewels, and other accessories. In summary, Qing dynasty hairstyles were generally quite simple, with all the hair gathered at the top, leaving the entire forehead exposed. As a result, bangs were non-existent during this time. For Qing noblewomen, hair accessories were not essential and did not significantly affect their overall appearance. On the one hand, they almost always wore crowns when going out. On the other hand, their decorations were often heavy, and only these types of hairstyles could satisfy their desire to showcase their wealth. Not only that, but during the mid-Qing dynasty, there were many rules. In almost all large-scale occasions, women were required to maintain specific hairstyles. As a result, many Qing dynasty noblewomen would never let their hair down, except when sleeping. Even if they needed to wash it, they would immediately tie it back up after washing. From some late Qing dynasty photographs, it can be seen that Qing noblewomen did not have much desire for intricate hairstyles. Perhaps, for them, the purpose of their hairstyles was merely to support the headdress on top. And as for the hairstyle itself, there was almost no distinction between beauty and ugliness. This explains why there are hardly any stunning beauties in images of Qing Dynasty consorts. It is worth mentioning that during the Qing Dynasty, there were very strict requirements for men's hairstyles in the common people. The hairstyles of men shown in TV dramas are mostly accurate. From a very young age, their hair would be shaved, starting from the 100th day after birth. The hair on the forehead would be shaved, leaving only the back. Around the age of 10, the remaining hair would start to be grown out. This hairstyle was referred to as the single tael in historical records, which later evolved into the 3 taels, though there wasn't much difference in form. The hair grown at the back of the head was braided into 3 strands. And this was a hairstyle worn by everyone in the Qing dynasty, from the emperor to ordinary people. However, long braids were not practical for labor, especially after the Industrial Revolution when various machines were introduced, making this hairstyle more dangerous. Even for simple manual labor, the long braid could be an extra hindrance. So poor laborers would typically coil the long braid on top of their head and secure it before working. This men's hairstyle persisted even after the fall of the Qing dynasty, with many conservative individuals deliberately leaving a long braid at the back of their heads to show their reverence for the Qing government. In contrast, the common people did not have strict requirements for women's hairstyles. Moreover, in important occasions, women always wore headdresses, which allowed for a 100 flowers blooming state of diversity in hairstyles among the common women. One of the first styles to emerge was the double-sided bangs, referred to by many women as cockroach bangs. After tying up their hair, they would let a small lock hang down on each side, which not only added a ladylike air but also framed the face, making it quite popular among common women. In special places like brothels, many women chose to tie their hair low, with their hair and hair accessories placed around their neck and shoulders, similar to the modern trend of side-swept wavy hairstyles. This style not only allowed for more jewelry to be worn but was also easy to manage. By the late Qing dynasty, as Western culture gradually entered China, there were significant changes in hairstyles as well. The most notable trend was perming. Since many foreigners came to China at the time, their curly hair sparked a trend. Many women on the streets had their hair permed. Although the perming methods at the time were relatively crude, the results were still impressive. This trend eventually spread from the common people to the palace, with many consorts secretly perming their hair. The most famous example was the last empress, Qianlong, whose signature hairstyle was standard curls. According to some historians, the ancient Chinese pursuit of beauty differed greatly from modern perceptions. Ancient women placed more emphasis on so-called gracefulness. For example, when describing women's appearance in ancient texts, terms like elegant or dignified were often used, while specific physical attractiveness was not emphasized. Thus, ancient people did not place as much importance on hairstyle as a way to enhance beauty. Bangs and short hair, for instance, only began to emerge from the late Qing dynasty to the Republic of China period. In historical TV dramas, small bangs or strands of hair framing the face are rarely seen among real Qing dynasty noblewomen. Very few women at that time could maintain a sense of beauty without relying on hairstyles for enhancement. Therefore, compared to common women, Qing dynasty noblewomen naturally did not appear as beautiful. This also explains why some Qing emperors engaged in secret liaisons. As times change, the standards of beauty evolve. A beauty from ancient times might be overlooked in the modern era for not fitting contemporary standards. Similarly, a modern beauty might be seen as an anomaly if transported back to ancient times. Different eras lead to different perceptions of beauty. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.